Hello guys and welcome back to my channel F1-1. Today I'm gonna show you some league race content once again. Today we are at Spa for F1 Racing Team league race. As you can see, we are now exiting the box for our final attempt of qualifying. We are currently stuck at 143.2, that is not a very good lap because we invalidated at the no-name corner our second attempt that would been at 142.7, but as you can see now from the timesheet, we are really confident going into this qualifying because I was capable of doing 143.4 and 142.3, so I was really confident going through this session. We are now coming to the last chicane to start our final attempt of qualifying. We are currently in 4th position and we need to improve. I think pole position time now is 42.5 and we can really attack the pole position time. Going now to the first corner, braking very late, first gear into the apex, then quickly up to the gears. We are already up on our previous time, overtake mode, going now to Leauge, trying to do as less correction with the steering wheel as possible to scrap less speed. Now down to the camera straight. We are now aiming to brake at around 75 meters away from the corner, staying very tight to the right and to the left, trying to maximize our exit from this right-hander, so shifting to 5th, hold in 6th gear for a little bit of engine braking, a slight lock-up, but we are in a very good line. We really missed the apex of the left-hander a slight bit, so not perfect lap for now, but still decent. Very good left-hander, very difficult to make it perfect. Stay tight to the right, then Alpha car off on the left, try to hook you up. 4th gear, 5th gear, coming now to the last sector. As you can see, we are down almost half a second, so for now it would be a 42.7 or 0.6 as DLD crosses the line with a 42.4. I don't think we can make the pole, but let's see. We are coming out to the bus stop, trying to have a decent exit from here. 2nd gear, 3rd gear, a little bit of wheel spin. We are coming now to the finish line. It's a 42.6, a decent lap that makes us P2 on the grid. It was not a perfect lap, but it was enough to bring us in P2, just about 2 times away from pole position. Quite a good starting position, as we expect to a very hard battle with DLD for the entire race. But as you can see, moving now to the grid, the race will start in intermediate condition. So we are now checking the fuel and the setup of the car, and we decided to add 1 click to the front wing to mitigate the understeer from the wet weather condition. We are now on to the formation lap and we are trying to sense a little bit how much grip we have in this condition, trying to have an idea of how much we can push on the first few laps of the race, how much traction we can get out of the first corner, but more important also how much lift we have to do going through Leauge, because in the dry it's almost easy flat, but in the wet, as you can see, it's not easy, and it's not an easy corner. So we are now to the grid. 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go, trying to have a decent launch off the line, and we reasonably had, but we have fair on the ass down the inside, so we lose I think 1 position. We are now coming for the first time down to Leauge. Very careful going through here, lifting quite a lot because we don't want to lose the backhand and spin into the wall. so a little bit cautious. But as you can see, we have a little gap from behind, so we can now focus on stay as much close as possible to the two cars in front. Now going for the first time to the downhill right-hander, trying not to lock up, but as you can see, we short shift into first gear for a moment and we lose the back, and so we are side to side with the Toro Rosso, banging wheels. It's not easy to do this corner in the wet, in side by side, and the first safety car of the race is already out, and likely we were ahead when the safety car came out, so we maintain our third position. We are now moving to the end of the safety car period. As you can see, we are on lap 3 and the track is pretty much drying up, so I don't know how many laps remains in this condition. We are now resuming racing, sliding all over the place from the last chicane, but we have luckily no pressure from behind. As you can see, also the ass is struggling on the brakes because it's very difficult to sense how much grip you can have in this condition. The track is really getting dry and drier, so I don't know how many laps we will stay on these inters. As you can see, also the leader is struggling in this condition, so they are going side by side to the camel straight. As you can see, the ass has gone into the lead and we are closing up on them. These conditions are very tricky. It's very easy to make a mistake. At this stage we really are trying not to make any stupid move and wait for the track to dry up and switch to the dry compound tires. As you can see, also the leaders are struggling in this condition. Going through here, 6th gear, waiting to go through the full throttle because the track is very slippery. As you can see, also the Williams is exiting sideways through these corners because traction is very poor. At this stage I decided to come to the pit at the end of this lap for dry tires. I was really wondering if I could make a one-stop work from medium tires, but I don't know if they are gonna last 18 or 17 laps, so I decided to pit at the end of this lap for soft tire and try a two-stop work for 2 compound of soft tires. We are now entering the pit. We hopefully don't get held up too much, but as you can see, a bunch of cars are coming into the pit. We put on Red Bull soft tires and we have been held up in the pits, I think, for maybe 1.5 seconds. And also the Williams has jumped the ass, so we are still in 3rd position. As you can see, the ass has gone to the hard compound tires, so he will go to the end. I don't know at this point which tire is the leader on, and I don't really know if I made a stupid decision going to a two-stop on the soft tire, or our strategy in the end will pay off. Still the track, it's a little bit green, so no perfect condition to push. Trying to guess how much grip I have in each of these corners, but as you can see, we are closing up a lot on the leaders because they are on harder compound tires, so we have much grip. I can tell you that at this stage the leader was on medium tires, so I think that he was planning to go to the end on mediums, and it will be a stretch because 17 laps on mediums, you really are going to finish the race on very warm medium tires. Let's see if our two stops is going to work. As you can see, you are really close to the ass because it's on hard compound tires, but looking at the minimap, as you can see, there are a bunch of cars up ahead that are still on intermediate tires, so very tricky situation. Coming now to the bus stop chicane, we brake at 120-130 meter from the corner, almost run into the back of the us because we slow down by the two cars coming into the pit, and the Williams ahead has got a decent gap now, so I was really desperate to overtake the us on this DRS straight coming up after Leauge. We are pretty close, using overtake now high, rich fuel mix, once again overtake, opening now DRS, trying to use the slipstream. We are gaining a lot, but we have a little bit more downforce than usual. We cannot make the move down the inside. Fair play to him to leaving me the space, but I was too far for the dive. And at this stage I was really a little bit impatient because I saw the Williams in front going away from me. But I have to wait for this entire sector, and we also get a warning for track limits. It's very difficult to overtake around sector 2 in Spa, so I think we will have to wait for maybe the camera straight on the next lap. As you can see, we are really pushing him right now, but not really an overtake spot down here. Trying to stay as close as possible to him, maybe trying to make the move at the bus stop chicane, but he has a decent gap exiting from this corner. We use overtake and rich mix, trying to use the slipstream, but we are too far away to make any sort of move at the last corner, so I think we will wait to the camera straight once again. In the corners we really make up a lot of time on him. Meanwhile the Williams goes fastest of all, goes purple, fastest lap of the race, as the track condition improves. Once again, this time we are really close. A little bit of whispering on the exit, but we are still very close. Once again, high through Leauge and then overtake as soon as we are in a straight line once again. Opening now the DRS. This time should be a pretty easy move. I don't think he wanna fight because he knows that I'm gonna pit again while he's going to the end. So we are now up in the second position. As you can see, we have 3 seconds gap from the leader. At this stage I was desperate to gain back the time on him, because I know that I have to make an extra pit stop. So my plan going through this sector was to try to at least enter in his DRS and then launch an attack on him on the last laps of the race with fresher red tires. Pushing as much as possible now. Our tires are pretty much new. We have only 4 or 5 laps on this tire, so we still have a lot of performance on our tires. As you can see, in the first sector we don't really gain much time because there are only 1 corner, but going into sector 2 we have to make up a few temps on him, trying to close the gap. I really love this corner with no name. You have to really hook up the car on the inside and use all the track on the exit. Going now to loop 1, In qualifying I use 7th gear and just a little lift on the entry. In race stream we use 6th gear and we tap the brake a little bit before the corner, using all the track, and we got another warning for track limits, and we have already 2 warnings on lap 8, and it is not a very good news because we are now have to be a little bit more safer in order not to get a 3 seconds time penalty that will cost us a lot. Purple middle sector, coming out to the bus stop chicane once again, hooking the carb on the inside curb, stay tight and then use all the track on the exit, and we set the fastest lap of the race, and we are closing on him by 5/10 a lap, as you can see. Skipping now to the end of lap 11, once again purple middle sector, we are now coming to the finish line. Let's see what the gap is. 3 seconds, because our soft tire are starting to go off the cliff, because I think that you have performance for around 7 or 8 laps, and now we have 10 or 11 laps on our tires, so these mediums are starting to be the better tire. As you can see, we have a little bit of understeer because our tire is pretty much worn, and he extended the gap to 3.9 seconds. So I decided to keep this lap because I cannot afford to lose much more time to him, and we have now 8 laps to catch back up at least to 2nd position, because I think that 1st place it's out of contention. Slight lock up, and we are now coming into the pit for our final stop on another set of soft tires, spotting our braking point, not getting 5 seconds time penalty from speeding. And as we are exiting our pit lane, I think the VSC comes out, and it is a very lucky situation for us, because I think that I gained at least 2 or 3 seconds, and we are really close now on the exit with my teammate. I don't really know if I was ahead or behind him, so I tried to overtake him, but as you can see I have to concede back the position. We have 3 seconds, 2 seconds up from the delta of the VSC, and we couldn't make it on time to recover the delta, so we also left 2 seconds on the delta of the VSC. And now is game on, a sprint race of 7 laps here in Spa, trying to catch back up to the podium. As you can see, skipping to lap 16, my teammate is a little bit lagging in front of us. We are really close to him. I hope he doesn't want to fight very much, because he also has DRS, I think, from the Red Bull in front. But I hope he will not make very much difficult for us. And yes, I think he turned out the engine and let us have the position. So we have now to go past this Red Bull, but we are now in sector 2, very difficult to overtake in this part of the track. But as you can see, we have a lot more of grip around the corner. He is on medium tires, worn medium tires. I think he has already 14 laps on this set of tires, and as you can see we are really gaining a lot on him. Going through the our red tires are really making a big difference. Almost pushing him around, going through this right-hander. It's very tricky when you follow another car, because the dirty air pushes you out of the corner, and you really risk to understeer into the wall. So we have to lift a little bit from the throttle, and we lose a little bit of space. Coming out to the bus stop, braking very hard, and we make up a lot of time on him, because we have superior tire grip, DRS on the main straight, and we are now trying to be as much close as possible as we go purple once again, to overtake him on the Camel Straight. Really close on exit, so we don't need to use overtake, but only high ERS deployment. Coming now to the camel straight, DRS open just now. He defends the inside, but we have a lot of overspeed on him, so before the braking zone we are already ahead. And now it's game on to catch to the Toro Rosso in front, who is, I think, only 1.5 seconds ahead. It should be pretty easy to catch him because he is on worn hard tires, so we should have a lot of grip, more than him in this middle sector. And visually you already see that we are catching him very fast. Going now through the sector 2 split, as you can see the gap is already down to 9/10 of a second. Once again purple middle sector, and as I can tell you, we have a really good race pace because I really love this track. It's one of my favorites with Singapore and Suzuka. Coming now to the last corner of the track. We are really close, DRS open, but we are not planning to overtake him down here. Once again, fastest lap of the race, trying to stay as much close as possible on the exit. And now we should have a pretty easy move lined up for this DRS straight. At this moment I thought that it's gonna be a very easy move, so I didn't use overtake on the DRS deployment. But as you can see, it was a mistake because we are not gaining that much as I thought. So we are going to round the outside. We have to concede him a little bit of room on the inside, and we decide to concede him the corner, trying to switch back because we have a better exit. He defends, but he left us a little bit of room down the inside. We are side by side going through here. This corner is almost impossible to make it by two cars. So we concede him the corner, do the switch back, and at this stage I was really playing, was not fighting anymore because we already lost a lot of time going side by side for almost one sector, and he finally decides to let me by. And now we are coming to the end of sector 2. As you can see, we are now have to catch Thorax with medium tires that is 7 seconds ahead in 5 laps, almost 4 laps. Almost mission impossible, but skipping now to lap 20, starting lap 21, the penultimate lap of the race, the gap already has come down to 4.7 seconds. My race pace was really good. I had quite a decent practice going into this race, so I was really hoping to get at least a podium, if not a victory, because I really love to race this track. Asking now my engineer if the guys in front have any sort of penalties, but I can confirm that they have not any penalties. And we already have 2 warnings, so we have to push, but we have also to be very careful not to get our 3rd warning, and so the 3 seconds time penalty. My tires are starting a little bit to go off, but I was really focused to keep gaining and catching them up. Unluckily for me, they both have DRS on sector 1 on each other, and they are slipstreaming, so on the first sector I was not gaining any time. I was losing maybe 2 or 3 temps because the DRS is very powerful, but in this middle sector I was gaining a lot of time on them. So going through here once again, let's see what the gap is. 3.6 seconds. We almost gain 1.2 seconds only in the middle sector, but there are only 1 lap remaining of this race. My only chance to get podium is that they start to fight really hard and they slow each other up. Going now to the finish line for the penultimate time, starting now our final lap. The gap is 3 seconds almost. Using all our fuel and our ERS, pushing till the end of the race. Leauge for one final time. Coming now to the sector 1 split, as you can see the gap is 3.6 because the Racing Point ahead can use DRS on the us in front, so he gains almost 4/10 on us, but it is in this middle sector that we make up a lot of time. I was really playing that something is gonna happen ahead, maybe a fight, maybe they come together, so I was really still pushing, because you never know what can happen. As you can see, we are still driving pretty well at this stage, still hoping that we have a chance to get on the podium. Also visually you can notice that we are gaining a lot of time on them. In fact, it's only 2 seconds that separate us from the podium, but we are now coming to the last corner of the race, using reach and overtake. In the meantime, the Williams of DLD wins the race. Congrats to him. I was really hoping to fight for him for the win, but unluckily for us, we are now coming home only in P4, and as I can tell you, maybe with 1 or 2 more laps we could catch back up to the podium. But we finish in P4 because no one in front of us has a penalty. So P4, and I was a little bit disappointed because I thought that because my return was really good and maybe I could fight for the win with the Williams in front. But at this stage, also if I'm a really big Ferrari fan, my strategy looked more like this. Thank you guys for watching once again, hope you enjoyed, see you soon.